Hi and welcome to my channel, continuing with the rising sign readings for the rest of July. And again, I'm a little too far into the month than I wanted to be before getting these uploaded, but anyway, here we are. You'll probably sort of feel the pain in a sense, or feel my pain in that I've got a lot of Virgo in my chart, so you can imagine how annoyed I find it when I'm, running late, in my view, with this sort of thing. Anyway, blah, blah. So rising sign for Virgo rising for the rest of July. And what do I want to say? Well, obviously the new moon has passed, but I do already have the video on the community tab that's got the astrological highlights, and I talk you through how you can work through those energies to your advantage. It's not a card reading, it's showing the charts. Like I show a tropical chart and a true sidereal chart, so you can choose to follow along with whichever one. So that's a video on my community tab, I do one of those every month that everyone can watch, and it covers new and full moon phases, any retrograde activity and any eclipse activity, and there's quite a bit coming in as well with those sort of energies, so it'd be a good idea. I would recommend to go to my community tab and watch that, because it'll give you a fair bit of information to help you work through the energies and to your advantage. That's the whole point. And other than that, I would also recommend that you check out the pinned comment and some links in my description box that would help you out to get your free chart generated, either in tropical or true sidereal. They're all free. The links are in the description box. I think that's about it for now, so I think we'll jump straight in and see what came through for you guys in the cards for you Virgo risers for the rest of July. Now, often I'm finding, if I have been running late, right, that if we say, like now, if we've missed a moon phase, which as I'm recording this, we've already had the new moon just passed a couple of days ago, as I'm recording it anyway. So often I find that it sort of seeps into the following month, so maybe you may get some messages for the next new moon phase in August, but we'll see what happens. It may not, we'll see what goes on. Okay, so let's jump in and see Aries. Right, that's in your Scorpio house, so I have a few thoughts, but I'll see first what else comes through. Healing, Chiron, the wounded healer. Planetoid, some people say Chiron's a planetoid, and others say, I think, an asteroid, whatever. But anyway, the whole point is it's about healing past wounds. I mean, it's usually based on the further past, like your early life, early childhood and all that sort of thing, where, we're very susceptible to picking up, what would you call it, other people's viewpoints and opinions and all that sort of thing, where when we're young we don't know any better, so we sort of take on that's gospel kind of thing. But it could be healing some sort of wound that you've dealt with as an adult, you know. So we'll see what goes in. Now, what I was picking up here so far, which may not come in the reading, that's why I wasn't sure to say something yet, because the 8th house is about shared resources. Credit cards, debts, bank accounts, tax, government payments. Shared resources may or may not be about actual money. It could be about certain items or things that you share in some way. Information or physical products or physical items or something like that. But yeah, so what I was thinking in the terms of Aries covering your 8th house is that there may be a tendency to rush in to, you know, some form of debt before sort of knowing all the intricate ins and outs. Like sometimes people may hoodwink us or hide information from us, and then once we've already signed up or whatever, it's like, oh. But I didn't want to jump into that if that's not. We'll see what else is. Ceres, home and hearth. Well, Vesta is home and hearth. Ceres is nurturing. Well, I say home and hearth because Ceres and Vesta to me are very similar, because this is nurturing and mothering energy, nurturing, healing. Maybe there's some sort of thing to do with shared resources that needs healing. Okay, Psyche is I think this is where it ties in with what I was saying about Chiron just before, where yeah, my throat's starting to go now, so I think that there's something about, I'd be surprised if there's nothing about communication in here. Because Psyche is about other people's opinions, right? But you not taking them on, not making them your story, not allowing them to be your story, not being brought down by them, you know, considering, is it the story you want? Is it what you want to go by? Does it bring you happiness, nurturance, healing, or is it, you know, harsh and difficult? What else do I want to say about that? Well, there's the saying, how does it go again? Other people's opinions are none of my business. Yeah, other people's opinions about me are none of my business. Sorry, I'm screwing it up. But yeah, it's that sort of adage that we need to take on, you know, not to let other people's opinions take us down. This is also where I always come in when I see the Psyche card. I always come in and explain the idea that with the view of opinions, everyone has one, right, about everything, pretty much. And the thing is, other people's opinions are solely based, all of it, it doesn't matter who's having the opinion, it's solely based on the person's own viewpoint, how they've lived their own life, how they've viewed things through their own eyes. So if they have a negative opinion on anything about you or what you're doing or what you're wanting to do, well, that's their way of viewing the world. It's not your way. It doesn't mean it has to be gospel, because it's biased towards them against you, you know, in that sense. If it's a negative opinion, it's obviously against you and biased towards them, because it's their opinion. It's how they see it through their eyes. They can't possibly see how your life is through your eyes because they don't have them. Sorry. Hopefully that's making sense. Okay, waning crescent. Okay. Two things here. Well, firstly, obviously that's new moon, which the one that we've had has just passed. And this is where I was thinking perhaps we might sort of sneak into the first part of August. And again, it might be about the 5th, 6th of August, or even the 4th. and 5th of August that the next new moon might be. In any case, this here is the crescent part, right? It's the 3-day window here right before the new moon. So we can take it two ways here. Was there anything particularly that came up around the time frame before this past new moon? If we're talking a 3-day window, it would have been somewhere between the 2nd, 3rd, because it was the 6th over here, right? So say the 2nd to the 5th in some places, I guess like America or whatever, where it would be between the 3rd and the 6th over here in Australia. So you can either try and pinpoint, did anything specifically go on, or did any new information come up or something around that time? Otherwise, this is moving into August, and so this is your balsamic phase, because it would have been the balsamic phase of this month anyway, when that time frame happened from this past new moon. But if this is August new moon that we're talking about, then again it's the 3-day window before before the next new moon in August, which is right near the start of August. Like I said, anywhere between the 4th and the 6th of August. I'm guessing 4th and 5th. We might still have it here on the 6th over here in Australia, but I'd say most places is probably 4th and 5th. So we're looking at around about the 2nd to the 5th anyway, around that, somewhere on or near that time will be the balsamic phase. And so that's going to be significant in some way, to keep your eye opened or to move in some way. See, this is healing as well. Balsamic is about healing. This is the healing phase after you've dealt with all the full moon energy of releasing, making tweaks and changes and all that sort of activity, letting go, whether it's something or someone even, you know, some sort of, you know, sometimes it can be heavy things, sometimes it can just be tweaks and changes, maneuvering things around to make things work better. In any case, there's activity, and then you get to the balsamic phase where there's the time to start settling down and healing before you get active again with bringing in the new and bringing in your hopes, wishes, dreams and all that sort of thing. So we've got Chiron wanting to move into that healing phase. So I mean, like I said, there's one or the other, or it could be both. Like you could consider the time frame of the 3 days prior to this last new moon, and then time this next new moon with the balsamic phase and work through that as well. Oh boy. Okay. Right. Okay. Oh. So we've gone through Psyches. These two asteroids are particularly, you know, very confronting in a way, strong. They're not warrior-like. They're not warrior-like, say, Eris or Pallas. But yeah, Juno is about relationships, relating to others. And it asks you to consider, are you receiving what you're giving in a relationship, or vice versa? Is one person giving more in a relationship than the other, or is there balanced reciprocation, giving and receiving in a balanced way? The other thing Juno asks is, do you even want to be in a relationship? We all have that option of whether we do or don't want to be in a relationship. I mean, a relationship can be great if it's balanced, and it can be terrible if it's not balanced. And I think this sees shared resource as well. If there is a particular actual resource, I mean, we could also go from the angle of the shared resource being an emotional sharing of emotions, you know, and the, I guess, responsibilities in a relationship. Not allowing someone else's opinion of that, because this could be even outsider opinions. You know, sometimes people will think that they're helping by giving a certain opinion, but it's actually not helping at all. You know, say someone's giving you advice on your relationship, your romantic relationship. Well, they're not in it, so, you know, they can't view it through your eyes. Here comes Psyche again, see? And see, this might not be a romantic relationship, it might be a friendship. Is there balanced reciprocation within the friendship? Is the person bringing you down? Are their opinions pulling you down? Healing needs to take place, and so does nurturing. They're right next to each other. Let's see if there's anything else about these resources. Mercury, well, that's your ruling planet. How you think, communicate, write, talk, and travel. And I think, yeah, Mercury is going to be retrograding very shortly, and I think at the very least just before this full moon hits, he's going to be retrograde. Like, let's say that again, sorry, he's not going to be actually in retrograde, he's going to be in pre-shadow at the very least. I suspect it might be more like the 13th or 15th that he's going to jump into pre-shadow. See, this is the thing as well that people get confused or jump into fear with, you know, that, you know, oh, something's going retrograde, let's hide in a cave until it's finished. No, Mercury retrograde can be so incredibly helpful if you're not fighting against it. If you're not aware of what sort of, how helpful a Mercury retrograde can be, then of course it's going to feel like you're getting punished, you know. Crazy things do happen, miscommunication and miscommunication or mixed up messages or whatever, things can go awry. But if you're already aware that that sort of energy is coming in, then you're already a step ahead of the game, so to speak. Now, this thing about Mercury retrograde, so for instance, things like, because this is so far looking like it's some form of relationship, whether it's a friendship, a familial relationship, or a romantic relationship, business relationship even. I'm getting Libra, but we haven't got through all the cards yet. So, you know, in terms of the relationship side of things, because Libra is all about all types of relationships. And the thing about Mercury being retrograde is, oh no, I can't work on this well because it's going to all screw up. Well, no, this is an opening to do just that, to look into how can things be improved to have a better quality of life. That's what the retrogrades and the eclipses do for us. That's the whole point. It's like, yeah, well, considering this is seeming so far to look like it's about relationships, for instance, you might have seen or heard, I've mentioned this before because I've seen it before, where it's, you know, there's, what are they called, GIFs or memes or whatever, where it'll joke about someone's writing a poem to their ex at Mercury retrograde. Well, that's not what Mercury retrograde is trying to show that person. It's obviously hitting their relationship zone, right? The 7th house probably, or wherever Libra hits, depending on what it's retrograding in. But yeah, let's just, for instance, just say, okay, it's hitting the Libra house for the person. What Mercury's trying to show the person isn't, because another thing is that some people think, oh, well, this person's come back, so I must have to go back with them. Well, no, Mercury's showing you, by this person coming back, how far have you come? Are you opening your eyes to what is no longer good for you? Are you standing up for yourself and saying, no, like Juno, no, I've had enough. That's it. I'm not going to fall for that. I'm not going to deal with that. It might not necessarily be about stopping a relationship. It might be about stopping a paradigm, you know, someone's opinion. No, that's not working for me. Let's look at ways that we can have something work in a balanced way so that we both can benefit. And that's how you work with Mercury retrograde, you know. And it's the same, again, like I said, Mercury retrograde, if any past person comes back and a person, and that, I'm trying to get this out. If a past person comes back and the other person, or we, say it's us, someone comes back to us that was an ex, and we have these, oh no, I really don't want this, I don't think I should do this. Well, absolutely, for sure, that's Mercury saying, look how far you've come. You can say goodbye to that. Good to see you, but don't want to be near you. Bye-bye. You know, kind of thing. That's what Mercury's trying to do. And it's the same with don't sign contracts, don't do this, don't do that. Well, the point with those things is, well, if you're only doing it for the sake of having something shiny and new, it's going to screw up. So yeah, don't sign contracts and don't buy anything new. But if you're needing to repair, replace, renew, then yes, it's going to work in your favour. And it's the same as if a house is falling apart and you have the option to sign a contract to get a loan for another house that's in way better condition, that's way healthier and safer to live in. Well, don't be going, oh no, I can't do it because Mercury's retrograde. It's absolutely why you should do it, because Mercury's retrograde, because Mercury's saying here is your opportunity to have a better quality of life, because this place that you're in sucks and that place is so much better for you and you will thrive. Listen to me, Mercury. I'm pretending to be Mercury. Listen to me, because here we've got this perfect place for you and you're going to thrive in it. Sign the contract. You'll be right. Same with a car. If you've got a car that's falling apart and you go, oh, well, I can't get a loan for a new car, or I can't buy a new car or a used car or get a loan, whatever, because Mercury's retrograde. No, it's the opposite. If you've got a falling apart car, it's dangerous. You've got to get out of that situation. So Mercury's going, here's this opportunity. Take it on. Hopefully that makes sense. Don't know why I jumped into this financial possessions side of things, other than that it's again reiterating back to the Scorpio house of shared resources. Sagittarius, Sag is in your fourth, the Cancerian house, home and family. This energy imbues power, superior confidence and enthusiasm with faith, good fortune and authority. Now we've got two fire signs right near each other. Home and family, Sag, easygoing, expansive thinking. Because Jupiter ruled Sag is expansive. But I think with these energies, something's been contracting instead of expanding. So that needs to be looked at. And look, as I say, the Cancerian house, moon ruled Cancer, Cancerian house, the Cancerian planet, ruling planet. And then we've got healing with Chiron and Ceres. As I said, Ceres and Ceres and Vesta remind me of the Cancerian energy. So there's a lot of nurturing wanting to come through. Let's see what else. Here we go, the first house. Did I read this? I don't think I read this. Your unconscious, sensitive inner emotions and responses. I get that your emotions are valid. You need to have balanced reciprocation. You need to be allowed to be heard. You need to be heard. Yes, communicate. You can still communicate effectively with a Mercury retrograde. What people see and the impression you give. First house, that's your rising sign, straight out of the gate. No matter who has what rising sign, it will always be found in the first house, which happens to be the Aries house. The Aries house will always have your rising sign sitting there. And you started with the Aries sign, and now you've got your Aries house. Now we've got 11th house, groups. Well, it says the edge. Come to the edge, I want to say. Not exactly sure why. Come to the edge. Yeah, I think sometimes with us Virgos, well, you know, I've got a lot of Virgo in my chart anyway, but us Virgos, I don't have Virgo rising, but that we tend to sort of hold ourselves back and allow ourselves to sometimes be in situations that are not good for us, maybe to keep the peace, maybe to keep equilibrium, status quo or whatever, or to keep other people happy at our own expense. And there again comes Juno going, is there a balance? Is there a 50-50 balance? Is there a balanced reciprocation? Or as Virgos, are we giving everything of ourselves and draining ourselves and getting nothing back, you know? Now, your 11th house, oh, we've got more Cancerian vibes. Moon ruled Cancer, Cancer house, now Cancer sign covering the 11th house. So there's a whole stack of nurturing that wants to come in, and maybe that's about time, because Virgos we can pretty much burn ourselves out to our detriment, making sure everyone else is looked after, but who's looking after us? Not even ourselves, you know, at times. I think this is where take a look at yourself instead of listening to other people trying to mirror their projections onto you. Look in the mirror to yourself and say, am I looking after myself? Am I filling my own cup? Am I nurturing myself the way I nurture everyone else? Am I giving myself enough nurturance like I do with everyone else? Because that's a bad Virgo trait, that we can burn ourselves out to make sure everybody else is fine and dandy, yet we're not. And sometimes, I don't know whether you can relate to this or not, but sometimes we can feel a bit slighted by it because we're not getting that, you know, that reciprocation. We're not getting the I was going to say accolades. We're not getting the responses, or, you know, it's not coming back. We're not getting the appreciation, the respect. Not that we want people to bow down to us. It's not that. It comes back to the balancing thing about giving and receiving in a balanced way. Yeah. Complexity, quincunx. That's an aspect, and it's quite difficult. The aspects you'll find in the very middle of the chart. But yeah, complications, irritations, contradictions, clashes, that sort of thing. Maybe because Aries as well is very warlike, there can be a bit of harshness where there doesn't need to be. And so far from what I can see, it's really screaming at me that there's a desperate need, definite need, let's put it that way, a definite need for nurturance. And I think, what's that saying? Charity begins at home. And look who's smack in the middle, you. Begin to give charity to yourself by self-healing and not taking on other people's projections of their opinions and so forth. And really, really consider, are you getting what you're giving in a relationship? And another thing, perhaps it's that you don't need to give as much as you are, because we can be over givers as well. And a lot of the time, I know for me anyway, I've so often been an overgiver. And so people get used to it. And then it's like, how do you put it? They get used to it, so it's sort of like by default that they expect it. And so also that they're so used to it and expect it that they don't perceive that they need to give anything back, because you're always giving, it's always a thing that happens and they don't have to make any effort. Well, pull back a little. It doesn't mean you have to pull back completely, just pull back a little. Consider, are you overgiving? Pull back a bit and see what other people do for you, because I think that that's something that's necessary too, because this is about groups as well. Groups, communities, like usually online, like bigger communities, whereas the Gemini sign is smaller neighborhood communities and things like that. This is the bigger communities. Friendships, again, I did touch on friends. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. Friendships or any sort of ships, partnerships. It could still be business, but I haven't really seen anything Capricorn or 10th house. But this is also hopes, wishes and dreams and goals, which you can tap into with the new moon. Clear the way first. Give yourself that nurturance that maybe you're not getting from others because they're not realizing you need it. Because as Virgos, we don't ask for help. We do it all on our own, and we never ask anyone for what we need. And if that's a difficult task for you, at least give to yourself what you can. Because often showing love and nurturance to ourselves, others will see that. And it's sort of like a kind of butterfly effect in two ways, where others will see that you're treating yourself in a better way. You're treating yourself like you feel you are actually important. And therefore people will sort of maneuver around in a different way to not expect and not take you for granted and treat you the way you're treating you, which also the universe, the energy that you put out is going to show that you're caring and loving yourself, caring for and loving yourself. So the universe goes, oh, you want more of this? Okay, we'll give you more of this because that's what you're doing for yourself, Virgo, the alchemist, Virgo rising, first house, Virgo rising. You can alchemize these energies, see? What I can see, you really need to dive 6 foot into this self-nurturance. If you are able to communicate your needs with whoever else if you can get yourself the courage to communicate and not sort of think you have to do it all alone, like Virgos always do. Like I said, I've got a lot of Virgo in my chart. Communicating that to someone else and say, look, I'm having a bit of a struggle here. Can you sort of take on this or that for me help me out a little bit with this or that? It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be just something small, just to say, look, I'm getting a bit worn out. I can't really take on all this. Or if you're not able to, if you're not comfortable with it, because again, us Virgos are so used to doing everything on our own that, it's foreign really to consider asking someone for help when we desperately need it. So if you're not feeling comfortable about that, that might be something to work through and take your time to work through that. And in the healings balsamic phase as well, perhaps you might be in a different frame of mind by then too. But until then, if you're not able to communicate your needs, then just by default care for yourself, which will then show others how you should be treated, by default, without actually getting in their face and saying, this is how I want to be treated, Okay, these may have reversals, we'll see. Yeah. Okay, I said the 7th house, relationships of all kinds. Again, it's about relationship, whether that's romance, whether it's friendship. So far there's been nothing telling me anything about business, like business partnerships, other than the shared resources, which doesn't necessarily bring business into it. It can or not. But this is in reverse, so that's no surprise, obviously. I think you're not surprised either that that's in reverse, because there has not been that balanced reciprocation. What's this? Oh, look, this one's upright. Conjunction alliance. But here we go. It's not so intense because this is another aspect, see? Conjunction is when, most of you probably already know this, but in any part of the chart, if there's 2 or more planets or what else? Nodes. What else? Planets, nodes, or whatever. If there's 2 or more of activity in any particular house, that's known as a conjunction. My mind's sort of playing around with me at the moment, so yeah, bear with me. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so this is alliance. They're all in formation. So I think even though this has been topsy-turvy, I think you can turn this guy around actually, because this is telling me, even though there's been complexity and difficulty to a degree, I think that you can be the alchemist and work through those fears, because see, she has a bit of a fearful look on her face and maybe, as I said again, coming back to the Virgo wanting to do everything themselves, not through ego, but because of really, if we're honest, we're kind of fearing asking for help, because maybe it looks like we're not coping enough, even though we're not coping enough. You know what I mean? So it may be fearful to ask for, a bit of help, a bit of letting off that pressure valve or whatever, But this is upright, see? So this is telling me that the energies aren't going to be difficult as far as I can see. And look, this is upright too. Taurus, cultivate. And where's Taurus in? Taurus is in your 9th. That's expansion and growth, the Sag house. Expansiveness. Being able to take flight together because you're now having balance. And if the person you're with, whether it's friend, romance, whatever, if you can't find balance with them, someone's coming in that you will be able to, fly in perfect formation with. See? Someone who gets you. But see, again, because this was in reverse, it may just be about having to speak up a bit, because remember, my throat started going. Seems fine now. And see, Mercury's right next to Juno there as well, so it's kind of telling me that this needs to be communicated, which will then turn this around, and you can communicate it in a very peaceful, nurturing way. Remember, 4th house, moon ruled Cancer in the 11th. There's a lot of gentle energies that want to be comforting, and you've got the balsamic phase going here too. So yeah, so I think you can work on these energies, and you might start to see improvements within that time frame, which will then have you cleared the way, because you would have dealt with the healing and the nurturing of said relationship, and then you can move into bringing in the new of whatever you want with the next new moon. You know, working on your hopes, wishes, dreams, which is smack bang under the new moon. Well, okay, it's crescent moon, but you know what I mean. Work with the crescent moon balsamic phase to get ready for the new moon, bring in your hopes and wishes and dreams and goals and so forth. Okay, so what's the numerology say for you guys? Moderation. Well, yeah, most of us Virgos do know about moderation, and then we don't too, in a sense, because again, we take it all on ourselves when it's way too much for one person. And we need to be open to allowing that balance, alchemize it so that it's, because if you keep giving, and then you've, you know, poured out everything that's been in your cup, what's left for you? So the moderation has to come in. And look, we've got green, which is the heart chakra colour, right? And what are we talking about? Relationships, which is a matter of the heart. And like I said, I mean, Taurus has come through, but I'm still not getting a money, career sort of feeling, because there was nothing, like I said, nothing Capricorn or 10th house. And Taurus is not in your second anyway, it's in your ninth. But this, as I narrow it down, usually when Taurus comes through, it's I say money and self-worth, because it's also about, you know, good quality food, you know, quality meals, healthy quality meals and all that sort of thing, gourmet maybe, things like that. You know, Venus ruled, so it's luxuries, money, finances. The second house is the better money house. The 8th house is the difficult money house. But yeah, but it's also about values. What do you value, you know? Not just about financial assets and things, but emotional values. What do you place value on, including your self-worth? And I think this is a lot of dealing with self-worth and bringing that through in a more healthy way, because Virgo's all about looking at healthier ways to do things. And this is the base chakra, about security and grounding and stability, right? As well. And then 1, personal power, emotional vitality, and there's a lot of emotional stuff going on here, but it doesn't have to be heavy, hefty, difficult. I think this quincunx is more about how it's been rather than how it will be, because you've got your alliance here, your conjunction here, saying you can work with these energies. And number 4 is the number of the builder, and 1 and 4 together is 5, which is freedom and change. Change needs to happen, yes, because the healing needs to take place. And what has been going on has been complex and, you know, a bit difficult, because this guy, remember, was in reverse. I've turned him around because I really think that you'll be fine to work through these energies and get it upright again. Physical activity, okay. Well, that might be a thing too, getting out, because I was getting that with the green colour about getting out into nature, you know, the getting outside and taking in nature in some way, whatever way interests you, whether it's animals or trees or bushwalk or whatever it is. Something getting out in nature a bit, if you're able to. Just going for a walk, even if you don't, you know, physical activity doesn't necessarily mean thrashing it out at the gym for 5 hours straight. You know, it's that's not balanced. But yeah, it could be just a gentle stroll, you know, through a park, you know, or somewhere where there's nature of some description that you find interest in. And then we've got the throat chakra colour, right? And that's about speaking your truth. Remember, communicating what your needs, whether it's emotional needs or some sort of help in some way, you know, to balance out the responsibilities of, that might have something to do with the 8th house shared resources. 6 can be temporary opportunity, can also be focus, detail, and dignity. 7 is the mind and creativity, and I always think the number 7 is quite a lucky number. I mean, we've heard that before as well. 6 and 7 come to a 4, which is again the number of the builder. I'll put you there, I think. And then we have, wow, domestic harmony, guys. And look, we've got the heart chakra again, and look, we've got the blue throat chakra, blue, blue, green, green. Yeah, domestic harmony, see? So these energies, like I said, that's why I turned that around, because I knew it's not going to stay in those difficult energies. You have the power and control over this. Number of the builder again. And temporary opportunity, focus, detail, and dignity again. 4 and 6 is 1. We're coming back to a 1. Emotional vitality and personal power. Cover that complexity, because I think you're done with that. You don't need to keep sitting in that complex energy anymore, because you know what to do. Self-discipline. And we've got 4 and 1 again. The builder and personal power. And we've got, look, I was thinking that. I was wondering if they'd all sort of swap out in a way, because this is the base chakra colour. Remember, base chakra, and then green. Heart chakra colour again. One of them. You didn't get pink though. Yeah, so the number of the builder and personal power, and then 4 and 1 comes to a 5 again, which is freedom and change. Change needs to happen. You can alchemize that, see? I'm putting it there so you can... I'll put it there maybe. You know what? Why have I not got them down here? There you go. Now you can see most everything. Hopefully it's all in the camera shot. I don't know. Is this in the camera shot? I don't know. Maybe. Oh, I think I'll put it back here. Whatever. Okay, so you've only got one of these cards for... this is notes from the universe about abundance. So this is your one abundance message for July. So let's see, because sometimes when this happens, when it's only a specific one card that wants to come through, no matter how many times I shuffled, there's a specific message for this, which says, the secret to getting rich is knowing that you already are and then acting like it. Do tell me who manages your assets and those gems. Are they real? See you in cans. The universe. Right, so what I'm getting from that is the idea of acting like it. You know, the secret is acting like that you already are that way. So acting like you're already nurturing yourself, acting like you've got the perfect situation going on with whatever this relationship is, acting like everyone's flying in perfect formation together in the same direction. They're all on the same page. Everything's working together, acting like it's already happening. Instead of fearing it, you know, and not communicating what you really need. So again, we've got a specific message from the guardian angels with only one card, which says, eternity. Gently move your awareness from the external world to a world of light within your heart. See, self-care. Yes. Allow each breath to heal you as you drift to a place beyond time. Eternity exists within you, forever sparkling like a diamond. You are, in essence, a shining star, forever transforming. See, transformation, making that transformation, transforming to ever greater light. Transformation with moderation. I think the self-discipline is more to do with, right, self-discipline and moderation, in that you don't overgive, you don't over push yourself. Self-discipline and moderation to be able to pull back a bit and know, hey, I can still give enough without give, and then feeling maybe perhaps resentful because you're not getting anything back and you're wearing yourself thin. So I think this self-discipline and moderation are about learning to find that balance. Remember, the 7th house, relationships, which the 7th house is your descendant, by the way, which happens to be in Pisces, which is about taking it easy, going with the flow, nurturance, you know. Pisces is not like Aries, bullet a gate, bam, bam, bam. It's wanting to take things easy and gentle, relaxing, peaceful, harmony, you know, all those things. And allowing yourself to sort of drift in the ethers, kind of, in a sense. You know, Pisces likes to do that, and perhaps you need to allow yourself to do that. Allow yourself that chance to do that sort of thing and fill your own cup in that way. But also not be afraid to ask for help. Discipline yourself to not overgive. Discipline yourself to get yourself, line yourself up in some way to be able to be confident enough to speak to whoever you're in the relationship of, whatever kind it is. Speak your needs, you know, speak about your needs, and maybe even brainstorm, I guess, or, you know, work with each other about each other's needs and who, you know, what to give, not to give, or whatever. But also maybe to pull back a bit. Self-discipline and moderation is going to be the key, I think, and a huge what do I want to call it? A huge serve, or a huge portion, a huge serve of self-worth and self-nurturance. Really, really dive into that, because I think that way is going to have you in, because Taurus energies are about, like I said, enjoying some luxuries. Have you? Virgo doesn't usually enjoy much of any luxury because they're too busy doing for everyone else and pouring their cup completely dry where they have nothing left. I know I'm being a broken record, but like I said, I've got a lot of Virgo, so, you know, I think you guys can understand because you kind of got the same sort of things. But yeah, so hopefully this has made sense. But yeah, you're gonna notice the difference in such a good way to be able to move forward and then jump into the next new moon energies once you've dealt with all these bits and pieces that are lingering, and whatever shared resources, things are going to move forward in a better way once this is dealt with, once you start to care for yourself, nurture yourself, and enjoy some luxuries, I want to say, on a regular basis. I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive luxuries, but something that you consider a luxury that you don't usually allow yourself to have, you know, that isn't sort of a negative thing, that's still healthy. You know, self-discipline and moderation, but you don't have to discipline yourself to the point of just, you know, whipping yourself constantly for doing one little thing out of line, kind of thing, in your view. I mean, yeah, maybe that's another thing too, pulling back on how you see yourself or how you speak to yourself even. That's another. Nurture yourself. Tell yourself about the good things. Maybe it might need mirror work, in that, you know, look in the mirror and say, this is good about me. I like this about me. You know, this is, I do this, you know, really big yourself up. Look in the mirror, big yourself up about all the good things about you, because then it's going to bring all these nurturing energies and everything's just going to expand and grow. Jupiter ruled Sag, remember? You had the Sag house somewhere as well. Who was in the Sag house? Taurus. Taurus is in the Sag house, and there's your Sag sign. I mean, from your chart, obviously your Virgo rising, but yeah, Sag. Sag in the Cancerian house and Taurus in the Sag house. So there's that opening for expansion and growth and luxuries, which you are worthy of having. So allow that. Tell yourself, do that mirror work. Big yourself up, yeah. That can be part of the self-nurturance, which is going to help you and be a butterfly effect. Sort of the energy is you're going to be, by default, pushing that energy out into the universe. It's going to be pushed out to, to others, and they're going to see that, and then they're going to respond to that energy rather than the cup empty energy of, oh, let's just take, because they're not giving to themselves because that's how it always is. No, it's got to change. And you can communicate that in a nurturing, healthy way. Okay, I think the point's been made, and I think I'll leave it there and wish you all the best of luck for July and maybe a tiny bit of the start of August and August's new moon as well. And until next time, bye for now.